You cringe, hard. Maybe you're in the shower. Maybe you're about to fall asleep. Maybe you're doing something completely unrelated, eating breakfast, driving to work. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, your brain pulls up a memory you haven't thought about in years. Something you said at a party in 2011. A time you waved back at someone who wasn't waving at you. A voicemail you left that went on 3 seconds too long. Your face gets hot, your stomach tightens. You literally say no, no, no out loud to yourself, as if that can stop the replay. And your brain, your own brain, keeps running it back, again, slower this time. Why does your mind do this to you? Why does it pick the worst moments and not let go? The answer is far stranger than you think, and it has almost nothing to do with the moment itself. Here is what is actually happening inside your head. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik effect, named after the Soviet psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, who noticed in the 1920s that waiters could perfectly remember complex orders, but the moment a table paid and left, the details vanished from memory almost instantly. What her research revealed was this. Your brain holds on to unfinished things. Completed events get filed and forgotten. Interrupted, unresolved, or socially ambiguous events stay open, like a browser tab your mind refuses to close. Your embarrassing moment? Your brain never got a resolution. You walked away from it, but the situation didn't close. No one said it's okay. No one confirmed the damage was zero. The social ledger stayed open, and so your brain keeps returning to it, searching for a conclusion that never came. That is step one, but it goes much deeper. You have to understand something about the brain you are carrying right now. It was not designed for the world you live in. It was built, over hundreds of thousands of years, for small, tight-knit groups of between 50 and 150 people. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar, who studied social group sizes across primate species, found that the human neocortex expanded in proportion to social group complexity. Your brain literally grew bigger to track other people's opinions of you. Because in that world, the world your ancestors lived in, social reputation was survival. If you were seen as unreliable, embarrassing, or weak, you could be excluded from the group. And exclusion from the group, 70,000 years ago, was a death sentence. You could not hunt alone. You could not survive winter alone. You could not raise children alone. The social group was your oxygen. Your brain knew this on a cellular level. It treated social rejection with the same urgency it treated predators. Neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman at UCLA spent years scanning the brains of people who experienced social rejection or embarrassment. What he found was striking. The same brain regions that activate when you feel physical pain, the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the anterior insula, light up when you feel social pain. Your brain does not distinguish between a broken bone and a broken social bond. It registers both as threats requiring immediate attention. That awkward moment you cannot stop replaying, your ancient brain classified it as a potential survival event. That is why it keeps the loop going. That is why it will not let you sleep. It is running damage control on what it genuinely believes might be a threat to your place in the group. Now consider this. The person you embarrassed yourself in front of, they have almost certainly forgotten. Research by Thomas Gilovich at Cornell University, who studied what he called the spotlight effect, found that people dramatically overestimate how much others notice and remember their mistakes. Participants in his studies consistently rated the impact of their own blunders as 2 to 3 times higher than observers actually reported. The audience barely registered what felt catastrophic to the person living it. But your brain does not know that. It cannot run the study. It cannot follow up and confirm the threat was zero, and so it runs the tape again. Here is something even stranger. The more you try to suppress the memory, the worse it gets. Psychologist Daniel Wegner ran a now famous experiment in the 1980s where he told participants not to think about a white bear. Just don't think about it. What happened? The white bear appeared in their thoughts more frequently than in any control group that was simply told to think about whatever they liked. He called this ironic process theory. Suppression creates obsession. The act of pushing a thought away requires your brain to monitor for that exact thought, which means constantly checking if you're thinking about it, which means thinking about it. Every time you mutter "stop thinking about it" in the shower, you are scheduling the next replay. So the loop runs. The brain searches for resolution. It finds none. It runs it again. You try to stop it. It runs faster. This is not weakness. This is not anxiety disorder. This is not you being uniquely broken. This is the system working exactly as designed, in an environment it was never designed for. Your ancestors lived in villages where the person who saw you trip was someone you would see every day for the rest of your life. Today, you trip in front of a stranger on a train platform, and your brain treats it with the same code-red intensity. The hardware is ancient, the world is new. There is something almost poetic about it. In a world of 8 billion people, with anonymous cities and social media profiles and 100 new faces every week, your brain is still running the intimate village calculus, still asking, what did they think? Did I damage that? Will I survive this? The memory that makes you cringe is not a flaw in your operating system. It is a feature that got left in from a much older version, one that kept your great-great-great-grandmother alive and connected to the people who kept her breathing. Neuroscientists who study autobiographical memory, including Martin Conway at City, University of London, have found that emotionally charged social memories are processed differently from neutral ones. They get encoded with more detail, stored with more emotional tagging, and retrieved with far greater vividness. The brain prioritizes social memory because social memory, for most of human history, was mission-critical data. You remember the cringe moment in HD. You remember what you were wearing. You can hear the silence that followed, because your brain treated it like a moment worth recording in full resolution. The forgettable moments, the days when everything went fine, when no one flinched, when you said exactly the right thing, those get compressed and discarded. They told your brain nothing new. They required no update to the social threat model. But the one moment you said the wrong name at the wrong time, that one gets archived forever. This is also why embarrassment feels different from other emotions. Shame, guilt, fear. These can be private. Embarrassment requires an audience, real or imagined. It is fundamentally a social emotion. It exists specifically to regulate your behavior in front of others. The sting you feel is the mechanism. It is your brain's way of ensuring you take social feedback seriously, adjust, and do not repeat the offense. Researcher Dasher Keltner at UC Berkeley has studied embarrassment across cultures and found that it actually signals something positive to those around you. People who show genuine embarrassment, who blush, look away, laugh awkwardly at themselves, are rated as more trustworthy, more pro-social, and more likable than those who show none. The very thing that feels like a catastrophic self-exposure is, to observers, a signal that you care, that you are self-aware, that you can be trusted. The cringe is the credential, and yet your brain keeps replaying it as if the jury is still out. Now you know why. Tonight, when you are lying in bed and your mind drifts back to something you said 3 years ago, something is going to be different. You will feel your face get hot, you will feel your stomach tighten, and then you will know exactly what is happening. An ancient brain, built for a village that no longer exists, is doing its job. It is running the social audit, searching for resolution, keeping you safe from the tribe that no longer surrounds you. The awkward thing you did, it was never as catastrophic as your brain believed. The person barely remembers it. The loop will keep running, because that is what loops do. But now you know what the loop actually is. It is not a malfunction. It is memory. It is evolution. It is the price of being the most socially complex creature that has ever lived on this planet. Next time you cringe in the shower, say no, no, no. And know that the no is 200,000 years old.